We're in the Mediterranean Conference Centre, the venue for the Malta Eurovision Song Contest 2016, and I'm very pleased to say that sitting next to me now is one of this year's semi-final competitors, making, I think, his fourth consecutive appearance at the Malta Eurovision Song Contest, and it is Franklin Calleja. Hello, Franklin.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Welcome back to the show once
Thank
again.
you. Yes,
a pleasure to have you on Radio International and a pleasure to see you on stage this year.
My pleasure.
Once
Thanks.
more. So tell us about your song this year.
Well, of course, my song talks about love.
And it's called Little Love.
Yes. But this time the story is different because it talks about determination and feel my love when you feel that you can't move on. The same question when people ask me, tell us about your song. Oh, about my song. I have to think about it.
This year, Franklin, you've gone with local songwriters, of course.
Yes. For me, it doesn't make a difference. I mean, if they're foreigners, the songwriters, or Maltese, as long as the song is good and as long as that I believe in it, for me, I mean, it's okay.
One of the things that I know some artists do here in Malta is submit more than one song to the Malta Eurovision Song Contest. Did you submit more than one song this year?
Yes, I had 3. I believed in all of them. But of course, Little Love was chosen, and I really love it.
Because for our listeners that are not exactly sure, that you have to submit your songs and then they whittle it down to a short list of about 40, I think, isn't it, or 39? And then the 20 semi-finalists are announced.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that you have to submit yourself to when you do this is that you appear on a television show called Bank on a Friday night just before Christmas, and they announce the 20 semi-finalists. What is it like sitting in that audience with the TV cameras on you, wondering if it's your song that's going to be played next and it's your turn to go up on the stage?
I don't
sing?
like it.
I was feeling for all the artists sitting there, especially when the camera is in your face.
It's like a shark is coming like to bite you and to attack you, and I don't like it at all.
Is that more pressure than actually performing the song on stage in the contest?
This year I'm more relaxed, so I can't tell you exactly.
So
but
doing Bank was more pressure than doing the contest?
I think so. I don't like it.
We've mentioned that you've got local songwriters this year, Cyprian Kassar and Matt Bouchou, of course. Is songwriting something that you'd think about doing yourself, or have you done songwriting?
This year we worked together as a team, and we were like thinking what we should do, what we should not do, and I'm happy because this year I had my exactly.
You had your own input to
Yes, I had my input.
Yes. Away from music, what are you doing?
I work as a sales assistant.
So you're still doing that?
Yes.
Because everyone in music in Malta has got at least 2 jobs.
Yes. I would like to start the fashion industry as well. But first I need to attend some fashion courses, of course.
So you'd like to do a course in fashion design? And,
yes, I love it.
And because you're a photographer as well, I think. You've done photography too. So
not exactly, no. But I
but you love
the job also.
Yes. How have you found being on the stage here at the Mediterranean Conference Centre compares to being on that vast stage in the Marsa shipyard for the last Malta Eurovision?
To be honest, it doesn't make any difference to me because as soon as I go on stage, like, I'm too much focused on what I'm doing rather than the stage. But I really like it here. The stage is looking very nice. And even the backdrop. I'm very happy this year.
Well, that's one of the things that we've noticed, Franklin, that the backdrops and the postcards as well, the graphics in all, the whole package is really looking very, very good indeed.
Thank you.
So when you choose when your song was chosen, how do you then go about sorting out what graphics you'd like to have on the background? Do they come to you and say, well, this is what we're proposing? Or do you go to them with an idea and say, well, we think this might fit the song?
They propose ideas. But again, we worked together. We gave them some ideas, what we would like to have on stage, on the backdrop. And we wanted something simple but magical. It requires something like that with the song. So it came out like we wanted something a bit dark and blue. So,
and of course, what you have on the graphics on the background then has a bearing on what you can choose costume-wise as well, because it's got to look good against the background. So there's it's all interacting with each other. It's not just the song. There's a whole lot of other things. How do you go about choosing a stage costume?
Well, the most important thing I learned from it is that you have to be simple. I mean, even as an outfit. We chose like a very simple color, dark blue, which I think it looks good.
And you've got to feel comfortable in it as well. Of
I
course.
am comfortable as long as it is simple and plain.
And I guess that being interested in fashion, actually trying on various costumes and saying, well, maybe this one is not entirely a bad thing for you. It's a good way of spending a day, probably.
Yes. For example, I like patterns on clothes or bow ties and whatever, but this time for my live performance, I wanted something more simple, elegant, but not so elegant.
Yes. And some things that you might like to wear, you perhaps can't wear for television because it doesn't come over well. So there's lots to think about. It's not just the song
That's
at
the
all.
problem as well.
There's a huge number of other things.
But this year, I did not worry that much on the outfit because I was working on my facial expressions and on my determination when I sing. And I think, thank God, till now it's working.
Well, I would certainly second that because last night when we watched the performance, we thought it was really excellent. You're going at number 15 in the running order of the 20 semi-finalists, which means that for this morning's rehearsal run-through, you didn't have to get up too early in the morning. I remember when we spoke to you last time that you told me you had difficulty getting up in the morning. So,
you know that I
don't
like
guess
it.
When they told you were number 15, you thought, yes, that's fine, I won't have to get up too early.
No, I woke up early actually today. Yeah?
The excitement. Although I did notice, I think last week or the week before, you had to do a very early morning interview on morning television show here, and I was feeling for you when I saw.
Have you seen my hair?
I did see that.
Nice.
I did see that, but I
had no time.
I wasn't going to comment on it, but as you've brought the subject up, I have to say that that was the first time I've ever seen you with the hair out of place. I think. I thought, well, I don't know. I suspect somebody's dragged him out of bed straight to the studio.
Bad hair day.
Well, we hope you have a good singing day today. Going number 15
vote for song
in
number
the
15.
Malta Eurovision Song Contest 2016. We wish you all the very best of luck, Franklin, and thank you once again for talking to us.
Thank you
it's
so
been
much.
a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks. Vote for my song, of course.